Pretty funny. I mentioned it before, but the pharmaceutical company, Eli Lilly and Co. You know, somebody impersonated them, said insulin is free. Then they popped on Twitter, said actually no, it's not, Lamau, and their stock price dipped, which is very funny. Billions and billions of dollars in stock value dropping, because of course, you know, for those of you who don't know, the patent for insulin was sold for $1. Insulin, the people who invented insulin, wanted it to be free and available to everyone. And of course, since then, you know, all of its, you know, is a product of, you know, about a century of um, corporate finagling. That is very much not the price we are paying for insulin. It's like insulin itself is like quote unquote like free, but then they're like, here's the $8,000 applicator injection that you can only get insulin through because the production of insulin requires, you know, fairly complicated machinery that we're monopolizing. It's a whole thing. Bernie Sanders tweeted, let's be clear, Eli Lilly should apologize for increasing the price of insulin by over 1,200% since 1996. 1996! I was alive back then. Since then, insulin has gone up more than 10 times in price. Uh, 275 will it cost less than $10 to manufacture. The inventors of insulin sold their patents in 1923 for $1 to save lives, not to make Eli Lilly CEO obscenely rich. Actually, the people who invented insulin did sell the patent in order to make somebody in the future obscenely rich. That is true. Um, Bernie Sanders just does not know what he's talking about here. Of course, naturally, because Elon Musk is desperate to prove to advertisers that his platform is not a festering shit pit, he actually responded to Bernie Sanders here. Like, full answer to insulin price question is complex. Short answer is that original insulin, discovered in 1921, not 1923. So first of all, we're getting hit with the retard fumigation um, right away because Bernie Sanders said that it was patented. The patents was sold in 1923, not that it was discovered in 1923. So he tries to correct Bernie Sanders by misreading what Bernie Sanders said. Again, the modern day Tony Stark. Yeah, Elon Musk does not open his window. His room is highly carbonated. Yeah, what too much CO2 does to a motherfucker. Yeah, before he comes up with all of his big brain Twitter decisions, you know, they lock Elon in the breath room, which is like about the size of a casket, you know, and he just insides it for like an hour or so until his whole body like you know 20% carbon dioxide, more like leaded water at this point. Yeah, me at my computer station in a room with no ventilation, breathing in a big healthy dose of CO2 before drinking water that came to me from lead pipes, you know, just really getting the classic just brain cell killing experience. New higher efficacy analog variants of insulin are more expensive, namely 12 times expensive. I'm sure that they're 12 times effective since they were in 1996. That's probably how that works. Of course, people are ribbing him for this, you know. Nice meme. New Twitter fun, Elon can't send an email, apparently. Twitter sent an HR email to every laid-off employee acknowledging it's late getting people their separation agreements and release of claims, but the company messed up the BCC, and it has become a reply-all catastrophe. Isn't Elon basically saying it's expensive because it's expensive? Yes, that is basically what he's saying. Every hour something hilarious happens. Yeah, it's actually, you know, I've always believed that we don't live in a meritocracy and that people like Elon Musk are like in no way exceptional, but I was wrong. He is exceptionally incompetent. I don't, you know, I want to own up to that. You know, this whole time it's like, oh well, there's nothing special about being wealthy like Elon Musk, and no, that's wrong. He's uniquely brain damaged. It's it's yeah, it's he's not a normal guy. You know, he's not just your regular average Joe. I was wrong. You hear we got another hurricane in Florida? Yeah, I heard. You know, maybe DeSantis is going to have a fun 2 years campaigning for the presidency while being governor of Florida and dealing with like weekly hurricanes, you know? It'll be a nice combination of stressors that he'll have to deal with. Bold of you to assume he'll deal with it. No, he actually has made an effort. Excuse me. He actually has made an effort to at least give the image of somebody who's like a, you know, a competent responder to you know, disasters like that. I mean, I've seen some campaign messaging from him on how he's like gotten Florida back on its feet since the last hurricane, since Hurricane Ian. So I don't think that he can afford to be negligent on it. I guess we'll see. Oh, by the way, Vaush, the Twitter subscription fee isn't hitting near the daily cost. Oh, God. Yeah, of course not. Twitter user asked Elon Musk today how many Twitter Blue subscribers there are. He only replied, overall proceeding well, but looking at the numbers so far, it appears the new $8 Twitter Blue has only pulled in around 61,000 paying subscribers. Elon Musk was talking about making 1/2 of Twitter's existing user base subscribers as a way of keeping the site afloat. Absolutely phenomenal stuff there. You know, I think there was some messaging going on internally in Elon Musk's corner where it was like, "Oh yeah, well if we could only get 10 or 15%." Have you ever heard somebody with a startup business plan who doesn't know how business works? You've probably heard it goes something like this, you know? Think of all the people who like X product. If we can just get 1% of that group, will be set for life. You ever heard something like that, either in person or like in media, you know, usually from somebody who has an idea but doesn't really know how business works? You will never get 1% of a market, ever. You will never get 1% of a market, okay? 1% of a market out of interest is like an insane. You will never get 1%. But Elon Musk was apparently banking for as much as 50% with his subscription model for something that was completely free beforehand. Vosh, you don't understand. It takes $120 million a day to keep Twitter running. Yeah. Servers are expensive, as it turns out. 61,000 paying subscribers would be that times 8 per month divided by 30 for... Oh, no, it wouldn't be $120 million a day. That's too much. This says 540 million every 3 months, according to their 10 quarter. Yeah. Musk claims they were burning 4 million a day, so either he's made cuts or he's lying. Either is possible. Yeah, we can't really speculate. You know, they all lie. I feel like a Discord Nitro thing would have been 10 times better. I don't really know how I would have handled it. Social media company. See, the problem is like the monetization of social media companies has been like a constant problem since mass social media became a thing, right? Like they're not as lucrative as you might think, and companies have had to keep scaling back the amount they're willing to pay out, or like scale up the amount they need in like advertisements as a way to compensate for exponentially increasing server costs. So YouTube used to pay out way more per view than it does now, like multiples of what they pay now. And now they have far more ads than they used to. Twitch has far more ads than it used to, while it talks about cutting down on how much of a cut it gives to its partners, you know? A lot of it is because like, you know, server costs are really expensive, and these days so much media gets uploaded to places like YouTube that you can't really put a cap on that. Can you imagine the blowback if YouTube was like, okay, no more 1080p videos, like 720p, that's max, or if they were like, oh yeah, you can only upload so and so many videos if you're a verified user, and verification costs so much. Like people would lose their minds, but in that case, at least they're competing against like an actual expense. This is one of the reasons why social media companies are so eager to sell your data. They're about to start charging for 4K. I don't need to watch 4K video. Whatever. That's dumb. It runs at a loss, by the way. Yeah, yeah, but it's also a necessary public service, right? Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but the problem is like the amount of information that humans produce and expect to have perpetually maintained has increased by like a million times just in the past couple decades, and it's just expensive to hold all that stuff. You know, it's that's just difficult. Yeah, can't even watch less than 8K too blurry, bro. Ah, same, same.